The first $100,000 is a nightmare. But once you cross that line, something magical happens. Your money starts making more money than you do at your job. And I'm going to show you exactly why this curve exists and why nobody talks about it. See compounding in action. Small bills duplicate into growing stacks. Your money working. Charlie Munger once said the first $100,000 is the hardest. Warren Buffett called it the most important milestone in wealth building. But why? What actually changes when you hit six figures? Today, I'm breaking down the mathematical and psychological forces that create this wealth acceleration curve that most people never understand. If you want to understand how wealth really works, hit that like button and subscribe, because what I'm about to share changes everything. Let's start with the raw mathematics. When you have $10,000 invested earning 8% per year, you make $800 in returns. That's barely noticeable. It's $66 a month. That won't even cover your phone bill. That 8% on $10,000 is $800 a year, roughly $66 a month. Barely noticeable, but it's the foundation. But when you have $100,000 earning that same 8%, you make $8,000 per year. That's $667 per month in passive income. Now we're talking about real money. Money that can cover rent, groceries, or be reinvested to accelerate growth even faster. At $100,000, 8% is $8,000 a year, about $667 monthly. Now it actually covers real bills. At $250,000, you're earning $20,000 per year just from returns. At $500,000, it's $40,000 annually. Notice what's happening here? The absolute dollar returns are growing exponentially, even though the percentage stays the same. Watch the curve accelerate. At $250K and $500K, the dollar gains jump even though the percentage is unchanged. This is the power of compound interest at scale. Einstein allegedly called it the eighth wonder of the world, and he wasn't wrong. But here's what most people miss. It's not just about the percentage returns. It's about crossing the threshold where the absolute dollar amount of your returns becomes meaningful in your life. Let's look at this another way. If you're saving $1,000 per month, it takes you over 8 years to reach $100,000 with zero returns. But once you hit $100,000, the next $100,000 takes only about 5 years with market returns, even if you don't add another dollar. The third $100,000? About 4 years. The fourth? 3.5 years. Your money is now working as hard as you are, and eventually, it works harder than you ever could. But there's another hidden force at play. When you have $5,000 invested and the market drops 20%, you lose $1,000. That's painful, but it's survivable. Your instinct might be to pull out and hide under your bed. With $5,000 invested, a 20% drop costs $1,000. It hurts, and your instincts scream to sell and hide. Totally normal. But when you have $100,000 and the market drops 20%, you lose $20,000. That's a used car. That's a year of rent in many cities. The psychological weight is enormous. Here's the twist, though. At this level, you've likely been through this before. You've seen market cycles. You understand that corrections are temporary. And when the market rebounds 25%, as it historically does after corrections, that $80,000 becomes $100,000 again. But here's the beautiful part. If you kept investing during the crash, buying while everything was on sale, your recovery is even more dramatic. At $100,000, you cross a psychological threshold. Your portfolio becomes large enough that you start thinking in percentages instead of just dollars. A 1% move is $1,000. A good month might be $5,000 to $10,000 in gains. These numbers command your attention and respect. They force you to become a better investor because the stakes are real. You start reading annual reports. You understand asset allocation. You learn about tax loss harvesting and rebalancing. Knowledge that was abstract becomes practical because now it affects real money. Here's where it gets really interesting. Below $100,000, you're limited in your investment options. Sure, you can buy stocks and basic index funds, but that's about it. But at 6 figures, doors start opening. Real estate becomes realistic. Not just buying a primary residence, but investment properties. With $100,000, you can put 20% down on a $500,000 rental property. That property might generate $2,000 per month in rent. And after expenses, you're cash flowing $500 to $800 monthly while building equity. You become eligible for private investment opportunities, angel investing, venture capital funds, private equity. Many of these have minimum investments of $25,000 to $50,000. They're not available to people with small portfolios, but at $100,000, you can allocate 10-20% to higher risk, higher reward opportunities. You can also implement sophisticated tax strategies. Tax loss harvesting becomes worthwhile. You can max out retirement accounts and still have money left over to invest in taxable accounts. You can use strategies like the Mega Backdoor Roth IRA. You can establish a donor-advised fund for charitable giving while getting immediate tax deductions. Each of these strategies accelerates wealth building. A 2-3% improvement in after-tax returns might not seem like much, but on $100,000, that's $2,000 to $3,000 per year. Over a decade, with compounding, that difference becomes $25,000 to $40,000. The rich don't just have more money, they have access to better tools for growing money. Now we get to the truly transformative part. Let's say you earn $60,000 per year at your job. At $100,000 invested with 8% returns, your investments generate $8,000 annually. That's 13% of your income, and you didn't have to work for it. But here's what most people don't realize. That investment income is just the beginning. As your portfolio grows to $200,000, your investments are generating $16,000 per year. At $300,000, it's $24,000. At $500,000, it's $40,000. You're now earning 2/3 of your working income passively. This creates an incredible psychological shift. Work becomes optional rather than mandatory. You can take career risks. You can start a business, knowing you have a financial cushion. You can negotiate harder for salary because you're not desperate. You can take a sabbatical or pursue passion projects. Freedom isn't about never working again. It's about choosing your work because you want to, not because you have to. And that freedom starts becoming real at $100,000, accelerates at $250,000, and becomes undeniable at $500,000 and beyond. But there's another layer here. When your investment income covers your basic expenses, every dollar you earn from work can be invested. This creates a snowball effect. You're living off returns while adding your entire salary to the pile. Wealth acceleration goes into hyperdrive. Money attracts money, and this isn't just a saying. When you have $100,000 in investable assets, you become an attractive client to financial advisors. You gain access to better banking services, private banking relationships, lower fee structures, better credit terms. Your credit score likely improves because you have reserves. This means better interest rates on mortgages, car loans, business loans. A 1% lower interest rate on a $400,000 mortgage saves you $4,000 per year or $120,000 over the life of the loan. You also enter different social circles. People with significant assets talk about money differently. They share investment opportunities. They discuss tax strategies. They introduce you to their financial advisors, attorneys, and business partners. This informal network provides information and access that money alone can't buy. I'm not saying you need to be wealthy to have smart friends, but there's an undeniable reality. At certain wealth levels, you gain access to knowledge and opportunities that are simply invisible to people at lower levels. It's not fair, but it's real, and it's one more reason why wealth accelerates after $100,000. Perhaps the most underrated aspect is what happens in your mind. Getting to $100,000 requires discipline. It requires delayed gratification. It requires consistently choosing long-term goals over short-term pleasures. By the time you hit six figures, you've internalized powerful habits. You automatically invest. You think about opportunity costs. You evaluate purchases differently. These mental patterns don't disappear, they intensify. You've also proven something crucial to yourself. You can do this. Many people doubt they'll ever build wealth. They see it as something other people do. But once you've built $100,000, that doubt evaporates. You've crossed the chasm from aspiration to achievement. This confidence leads to better decisions. You're less likely to panic sell during market downturns. You're more likely to increase investments during crashes. You're more willing to take calculated risks because you have evidence of your own capability. Now let's address the elephant in the room. Getting to $100,000 is brutally hard for most people. If you're earning $50,000 per year and you want to save $100,000, you need to save $20,000 per year for 5 years. That's 40% of your pre-tax income, or over half your take-home pay. It requires sacrifice. No new cars, no expensive vacations, no $200 dinners, no impulse purchases. Every dollar needs a purpose, and that purpose needs to be your future, not your present comfort. This is why so few people make it. According to Federal Reserve data, the median American household has about $5,300 in their savings account. Only about 20% of Americans have more than $100,000 in investable assets. It's not because people don't want wealth. It's because the price of discipline is too high for most. But here's what I want you to understand. It gets easier. The first $25,000 feels impossible. You're living lean, and it feels like you'll never get there. The next $25,000 is still hard, but you can see progress. The third $25,000 comes faster because your returns are helping. By the time you're pushing toward $100,000, momentum is on your side. The key is to start and to be patient. If you're 25 years old and you invest $500 per month at 8% returns, you'll hit $100,000 by age 35. By 45, you'll have over $350,000. By 55, you'll have nearly $900,000. By 65, you'll be a multi-millionaire with over $2 million. So what do you actually do with this information? First, commit to a number. Maybe it's $500 per month. Maybe it's $1,000. Whatever you can sustain long-term. Automate it. Set up automatic transfers the day after your paycheck hits. Pay yourself first, before rent, before anything else. Second, increase your income. This is the multiplier that most people ignore. Wealth building isn't just about cutting expenses. It's about earning more. Develop valuable skills. Switch jobs every 2 to 3 years for raises. Start a side business. Negotiate aggressively. Every extra $10,000 in income, if invested, becomes $100,000 to $200,000 over time with compounding. Third, invest in index funds until you know better. Don't try to pick stocks. Don't day trade. Don't chase crypto pump and dumps. Buy broad market index funds like VTI or VOO and let time do the work. As you learn more and your portfolio grows, you can branch into other investments, but start simple. Fourth, ignore the noise. The market will crash. There will be recessions. Your portfolio will drop 30% or more at some point. This is normal. This is expected. This is when you keep investing or even increase your investments. Wealth is transferred from the impatient to the patient during these moments. The curve nobody explains exists because of mathematics, psychology, opportunity access, and network effects all working together. Below $100,000, you're fighting gravity. After $100,000, gravity becomes your friend. Your money starts earning more than you can save. Your mindset shifts from scarcity to abundance. Doors open to investments that weren't available before. Your financial decisions become more sophisticated. And most importantly, you gain the freedom to design your life on your terms. This isn't magic, and it's not guaranteed. Markets fluctuate. Life happens. Emergencies arise. But the fundamental principle remains. There is a mathematical and psychological inflection point in wealth building. And it happens somewhere around 6 figures. The question isn't whether this curve exists. The question is whether you're willing to do what it takes to reach it. Most people won't. They'll rationalize. They'll delay. They'll spend their money on depreciating assets and temporary pleasures. But you're watching this video, which means you're different.